Let me out! Let me out! I want out!
At last.
The king's back and the throne's mine. The future's here and it's my time. Straight shot, going for the head with it. Take his head off and say that I did it. Good riddance. Say hi to the bad guy, I'm back in business. If you took what's mine, I'm back to get it. There's nothing you can do, I'm back with vengeance. Now turn me loose. Now turn me loose.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody else here coming in. This is Angelus representing for the Grey Pill Podcast. Yeah, give me a minute because I have a friend. I was supposed to start early around 11 o'clock. So around 11:30. You know, sometimes you have something you can't find. It's just happened to be in front of your face. So you're looking all over the house, the apartment, on the cushions, and you can't find it. And it's like right there staring you at your face the whole time. That's pretty much me. So I am trying to also have a good friend. They're not very tech savvy. So they pretty much what they do is they'll ask me to text them any content that I start doing so they can just click on it from their cell phone instead of trying to find the app they already have. So bear with me while I'm sitting out there and we'll get this conversation going. Appreciate you, Big O, for coming on through. And anybody else, if the audio is fine, definitely let me know so I can make sure it adjusted for everybody. And again, if you are new, definitely hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the all bell notification. Because anybody that doesn't know, YouTube is a little bit wonky to the point where it will either remove your subscriber from you. So it's kind of hard for you to find me or your other favorite content creator, or it will actually dump stuff down. So just be advised for that one. But in the meantime, let me do this real quick so I won't get lost into what the conversation is about. Okay, we are good to go. So if anybody remember last time we had a live conversation in the morning, I think like a week or two ago, and we was talking about narcissism and the traits of narcissists, right? We talked about the 5 to 8 to 12 traits of it. We dissected and broke that down. We also went a little deep dive of just giving some personal examples or hypotheticals of what that looked like. We also discussed and talked about at the internet, what spawns from that is flying monkey. So if anybody doesn't know what a flying monkey is, you could definitely go back to the channel and check that out. I believe I have everything timestamped, but to kind of end it off from there, I think we will do a segment of what happens within the flying monkey realm. So we'll come back to that to revisit just a little bit, and then we'll kind of dissect what happens within a flying monkeys kind of start fighting amongst themselves, right? You know how that banana goes in, or the fruits, or whatever, whatever monkeys normally eat, they get into feeding off the actual narcissist. Now what happens when they don't have their supply? They're scrounging around from scraps, so now they're fighting amongst each other. So we'll have that conversation in a later date. So we'll make that in a morning show for that one. But do anybody understands to know what an energy vampire is? Yes? No? Okay. So pretty much I have two doctors here that's going to kind of break down, explain it, and we'll have a kind of reaction to it. If anything is familiar with it, because I know a lot of people in spaces that, number one, like for example, me, is not a licensed professional, not a doctor, that have no degree, no certificate, anything else in that. Heck, not even a diagnosed narcissist, right? And we'll have that conversation too, because there are people out there that's actually a diagnosed narcissist, and they are actually speaking out on plenty of panels. They have their own channel where they talk about how they reacted and how their behaviors and how their traits either affected their livelihoods with family, friends, girlfriends, fiancés, husbands, or wives. So we'll definitely have that conversation too in a later date. But it is a real thing. It is out there. So again, this is for educational purposes only, to help people out there. And where? In the back of the bus. And where? In the back of the church. We know the back of the church where people don't want to come up in front and put that little dollar in the collection plate. The back of the bus where the person think they're too cool for school and sit all the way in back, knowing that they have to they're gonna get dropped off first, so they'll travel all the way to the back just to walk up all the way to the front just to get noticed. So those people right there. So let me get this shared out real quick so we can have this conversation with the video. And again, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing great. And this is from Dr. Ramani. I hope I didn't butcher her name, so I do apologize to her. Let's see, get my ugly face up in there real quick. Okay, cool. Now, again, this is for the understanding and solutions of how to deal with the trait of a narcissist, an energy vampire. Now, this is just one trait of a narcissist, but we do have energy vampires out there. So this is kind of like to help understand, detect, and hopefully for some solutions for yourself.
Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Ramani. Today, we're going to talk about how narcissists deplete your bandwidth because you expend so much energy walking on eggshells. Before we get there, thank you again for subscribing. Those of you who are new to this channel, please hit the bell, subscribe. You'll get notified on new content. We have videos now coming out twice a week.
Yes, sir.
So what am I talking about with bandwidth? When I use the term, you know what I mean, right? If you have internet in your house or something, you know, the wider the bandwidth, the more the bandwidth, the more you the wider the bandwidth, the more the bandwidth, the better your internet runs. You can
also, just to give another example for people who don't know, when they say, because a lot of people's not tech savvy. So when she's talking about bandwidth, we're talking about, like, say you as a person, a full battery, right? You're fully charged, full of life. You wake up, you got that little pep in your step. You know, some might be skipping and hopping. Other ones just might, like, you know, I'm ready to get tackle the day when you wake up. And that's pretty much how it goes from there.
Everything runs faster. Everything runs more efficiently. There's actually been some really interesting research done by behavioral economists, namely Shafir and Nathan, who are at Princeton and MIT. Brilliant work on this idea of cognitive bandwidth. But I don't want to get too deep in the weeds in that. But they've done that work. They've wrote a book called Scarcity. I highly recommend it. This idea of bandwidth, it gets at our mental efficiency. So let me give you a good example. Let's say you stayed up all night for whatever reason, for work, because you were partying, because you couldn't sleep, whatever. How well do you function the next day? My guess for most of you is not very good. You're thinking more slowly. You probably shouldn't even be driving a car. You can't even choose what cereal to have in the morning. Your bandwidth is shot, okay? It's down to here. If that's the reason your bandwidth is shot, guess what? All you need to do is get a good night's sleep, and you'll probably be back to normal the next day. Have your bandwidth be able to do you. But different things can erode at our bandwidth. Fatigue, stress, pressure, lack of resource, lack of time, lack of money, and over the course of a day, it kind of eats us away. But if we were to apply that concept to narcissism, it becomes sort of an interesting thing to muse on. Those of us who spend any time with a narcissist, whether it's our partner, a family member, a boss, a coworker, a friend, anyone, we expend a lot of bandwidth walking on eggshells. We don't want to say the wrong thing. We don't want to set them off into a rage. We don't want to turn on the trigger that makes them get upset for no reason we can identify, because remember, narcissists as a rule are hyper sensitive.
Yeah, now that could be anything. Hey, what's going on? Red Lipstick, I appreciate you. And happy birthday. Happy birthday. I will definitely be there for your birthday celebration. I'll do work, but I will be in the chat and when I get off, because I know you normally have long strings, so I will make sure I'll be running home. I even shaved for it. Red. I even shaved for it. So I will definitely make sure I head straight home and I will come there to support you because you've always been a great supporter of the channel. Actually, you be actually challenging me too, because I know I asked for a video to get edited. You was like, hey, I got you. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna go learn on my own. I'm gonna learn on my own. So I appreciate you always. Hey, what's going on? Peace, love. Another great content creator. And I will also say a positive influence with her realm, just like Red Lipstick vibes. Shout out to the Petty Brigade. I'm just making up a name for you, Red, just for the Petty Brigade out there. Great conversation over there. Always talk about positive vibes. So this is pretty much like a reflection or extension of stuff that I have over here in the Grey Pill Podcast, where we always talk about what everything's not black and white, but there's gray in the middle. So you could say that's pretty much another positive side with the conversations, more of a random, hey, let me have the conversation, let me vent, but let me vent in a positive way. And if I do vent, let me bring some solutions of what my life gives to other people. And you might reach out to some, you can't reach out to all, but you have a few people out there. And again, like I said, this is for the slow people in the back of the bus. This is for the people in the back of the church. The people back in the church, the ones that want to watch you in the back of the last pew in the back, that's watching everybody see how much money they drop in the collection plate. Oh, he dropped $5. She dropped $6. Let me go ahead and drop at least $1 in there so I can at least feel some kind of good or show everybody I did something to be doing something. The slow people back in the bus, that person that always know he or she's the first person to get off first, but they want to sit all the way in the back of the bus so they can walk all the way longer. Just to be seen, just to be noticed. So yeah, that part. So yeah, but definitely, Red, I would definitely be there for the birthday celebration. It is on my calendar. It's a stamp. So I'm looking forward to that. Shout out to Big O. Now back to the conversation. Big O says she is one of my favorites on this. Yes, it was another one, Big O. I can't remember her name. I just know she's right here. That's pretty much the first one I saw, and I dived in deep on the conversation with her because it was one I can't find. I have to look for it. She actually breaks down what I thought was a perfect, more detailed illustration. But Miss Ramani, Doctor Ramani, has so many levels of the trace of a narcissist. Is unbelievable. So definitely want to keep her in the side pocket, Big O, with breaking everything down. Like I said, we talked about the basis of narcissists, and I really wanted to get on this like a month ago, but I just somehow just bypassed it. And then how you think about it and somehow just up in the atmosphere where people and just everywhere it's like a handshake, right? Everybody just kept pointing fingers. Oh, that's a narcissist. This is a narcissist. That's a narcissist. And I'm like, that's not true. You don't understand the definition. And this is from Doctor Ramani. This is from two other licensed and very experienced therapists that deals with this sort of matter. So I'm like, no, this is not right. This is not right. You don't know the term. You're just saying words to be saying words. This is unthinkable. So I was like, now we got to have the conversation so people can understand and break down what it is. Like, we have traits, but when you actually lined up everything all together in a consistent basis, this is who it is. Also, number two, we as people, especially somebody that's not licensed or a doctor, you just can't say full-heartedly, this person is that. You may be aware of their traits. You may be aware. But if you are aware, this is pretty much what we're doing right now. We're going to have the conversation about the traits so you can be aware. And once you're aware of these are another red flags. So once you're aware of these red flags, okay, how can I move accordingly with this? Because we're all human. We make mistakes. We might trip. We might butt stub by toe. And there you go. Shout out to Big O. Big O said the T on the NPD channel. That part. That part. So let's get to it.
But when you walk on eggshells, it's exhausting. You have to put so much resource into say, don't say this, don't do that, don't mention this, don't tell them I had this good thing happen, don't let them know we have to fix this mistake. By the time you figure that all out, you have wasted so much mental energy, you don't have it to give someplace else.
And that's very true. And I would say pretty much on the pandering side, like you're just trying to you to yourself, you think like, hey, I'm just being a good person. I'm thinking about this other person's needs and well-being, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have good messages or something you want to share, like the list you gave. Hey, my friend, a good coworker I constantly see, family members, somebody's in a relationship that you're with, and you just want to share these ideas and something happened good in your life, right? And they don't listen, they don't care, like they just it's always something, or it's about me, I. That's problematic. That's problematic. Oh, and I will also say a caveat too. I don't know if she's going to mention this in the video. What I also find with a trait with the energy vampire is, let's just say relationships with friends, or either way, the communication, right? And we'll use peace love as an example, right? So I say, hey, peace love, here's my phone number. Okay, cool. If I'm calling you or texting you more than you calling and texting me, and peace love is not reciprocating that same communication in some way, shape, or form, if I'm always forcefully making myself to reach out to this person because I'm like, hey, let me call this person, let me text this person, I only hear from, quote unquote, peace love for like once a week or once a month, that's another way of zapping energy from you too. Okay. Now, some people, shout out to the petty people out there. Some people might be petty and say, oh, you know what? Okay, you're not texting, calling me, so I'm not going to do it neither. So now when you do that, let's say you text and call me, I'm going to go ahead and just ignore you. So it's like kind of like a tit for tat, which is not good, but I understand it. So keep that in mind too. That's also another form of an energy vampire. If you're always reaching out in some way, shape, or form, and you're supposed to be quote unquote friends, or you're supposed to be quote unquote lovers or girlfriends, whatever positive relationship y'all claim that y'all have on the rules and boundaries that y'all are, family members, husband, wife, and you're always constantly reaching out, and then you never get the same reciprocation. That's another form of energy being drained from you and transferred to them. Okay. So think about that.
So this is where being in a relationship with a narcissist in any area of your life can actually bring down your level of performance. Because you're expending so much energy on this, it can affect, for example, your ability to be a parent, because you may be giving it all up to the spouse that you're walking on eggshells around. You may not notice moments in your child's life. If you're walking on eggshells at work a lot, it may really cut into your work performance. The work product you put forth isn't as good. You're not able to work as efficiently. You may end up having to work more hours just to get the job done. If you walk on eggshells around a friend, you may find that what's supposed to be your leisure time with a friend ends up becoming really exhausting. So the time you should be repleting yourself ends up being exactly the time you deplete yourself. If you walk on eggshells around your family, around your parents, or around siblings, it can make your family life not only exhausting, but it can also negatively affect other relationships in your world because you've given up so much bandwidth just to have a conversation.
This is a perfect example. This is why I tell everybody to make time for yourself. Not to say, hey, let me make time for myself to fill up my battery, then come back to that type of energy vampire. No, when I say, hey, take time for yourself, have lazy days for yourself, relaxing days for yourself, that kumbaya days for yourself. what happens with that is if you have a positive, healthy practice of doing that, you will understand your own boundaries and your own self-worth. Okay. So I'm going to say it again. When you have lazy days for yourself, positive days, just a me day, loving your me, myself, and I type deal. Like most people don't know how to be by themselves. People just can't. They have to. I go to the movies. I gotta take a friend. I don't care if I pay for them. And that person could be a straight jerk. A straight jerk. That right there is taking energy from you to them. So once you have established those boundaries of, hey, I got a good weekend for myself. I got a date to myself. Maybe I want to lay back on the couch and listen to music. Maybe I want to watch, shout out to the Great Pill Podcast. Maybe you want to binge watch the Great Pill Podcast. Maybe you want to listen to some tranquil music or stuff like that on the video because they have that 24/7. Maybe just want some time for yourself. And once you start creating those kind of boundaries for yourself, and then when people call or text, when it's just your time, you can respectfully say no. And then you can move on. So when you come across stuff like this, you'll be like, no, this is me. And you started slowly building boundary for yourself.
With your mother or your father. And that doesn't necessarily have to be in person. It can be on the phone. So as you can see, any one of you out there who's in any form of narcissistic relationship, which I'm guessing is most of you, is probably saying, okay, I didn't realize it was bandwidth. But you're so depleted by the end of the day, more than you normally would be. And maybe if it's your parents, maybe you've always become used to this. But you might say, you know what, in other relationships, I wasn't this depleted. But now I'm exhausted. So what you may find is that by walking on eggshells, you're avoiding their tantrums, you're avoiding their rage, you're avoiding their wrath and their anger and their disappointment and their frustration. So you're dodging those bullets, but you're exhausted. You barely can drag yourself into bed at the end of the day. So again, it's a balancing act of giving up one
Correct.
thing, but then getting another. So maybe you get to keep peace, but you're too exhausted to enjoy it anyhow. Not to mention it can have really negative effects on your life, on your relationships, on your work. It can end up hurting your work performance. In the most extreme cases, you might even lose a job. I've actually worked with a few clients who put so much work into their narcissistic relationship that they didn't have it to give to their jobs. And they were actually became precariously close to losing some really, really good jobs because they were having to do so much damage control on appeasing the narcissist or the narcissists in their life.
Again, and she's 100% right on that. And most people don't understand that. Most people think like, oh, you can just go to work. You can just get up. No. It's levels to this, right? And let's just say the person don't even know they are a energy vampire. They just want the attention. They just have attitudes for no reason. But if you're always giving yourself to that type of person, you're also losing a piece of yourself. Sometimes you might even be forgetful of the things that you need to do with yourself in a day-to-day basis. Right? Like again, I gave an example of, hey, in the morning, hey, I was scrambling around, finding my keys. Now that has nothing to do with nobody else draining energy for me, but let's just give an example. Your normal routine usually won't become your normal routine when you have an energy vampire is sucking the energy from you. Okay, if you got to get up in the morning, brush your teeth, take the shower, grab that nice little breakfast, get to work because you got your mind right, focus on work because that's what you're supposed to do. But if you have an energy vampire in your daily life and they're doing things that's, oh man, I'm at work or I'm on my way to work and I got to think about this person, what this person wants versus what they need, that becomes problematic. So you kind of lose yourself with the balance. So, and shout out to Peace Love. She was 100% right. You got to get self-care. Boundaries counts. Boundaries definitely count.
This phenomenon is real. I actually, again, would love to hear your comments on this. If any of you have ever had this experience of having really depleted bandwidth, of feeling exhausted at the end of the day, from having to walk on eggshells, from having to watch and guard every word you say because of the narcissistic person's hypersensitivity and your fear of blowing things up. It's a real thing. And so one thing I want to make sure is that you know that it's real, because so much of a life spent with somebody who's narcissistic in your purview means you get so used to being gaslighted. I want this YouTube channel, I want these videos to be a place where you're not gaslighted and you get a chance to realize, like, yeah, this is real. You are exhausted. And it does mean, and it's something we're going to take on in the future video series, is that you do need to take good care of yourself. The little things you can do, make sure you get, if you can get some adequate nutrition, make sure you do get the rest you need. Like, you do you the best you can under these circumstances, because I promise you this, you're going to need the energy. While all these techniques like being mindful and being careful and watching your words and walking on eggshells can spare you the narcissist rage, it still takes a toll on you. And that's ultimately the catch-22.
Correct. And you know what? I just have a perfect example of that. Perfect example. Let's say anybody ever dealt with customer service and sales? Have you ever been a cashier? Think about it. Have you ever been in customer service? Have you ever been in sales? Perfect example. Because what you do there, you have to bite your tongue. Matter of fact, if you're a teacher, perfect example. If you're a teacher, you can't outlet the things you want to say, what you're thinking. You always have to keep a tight lip on that. Now, imagine doing that from 9 to 5 or 2 to 10 or 11 p.m. to the next morning on a daily basis. That's become draining, right? So that's perfect. That's a perfect example of an energy vampire. So now imagine multiple personalities come in and just zapping, little baby vamps, just zapping. Whether you're a teacher all day, you can't say anything. Whether you're in HR and you got to be very appropriate to how you have conversations with people. It is very taxing on you. Very taxing on you. Shout out to Classic Ruby or Kel from I'll Be the News. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. That's another example too. Nurses too. Yes, especially nurses. I came across a lot that had the same conversation. They have to be very careful what they say, how they say, with patients, because of policy and procedures, even around their coworkers, especially around doctors. It's very taxing on you. So that's another form right there. Thank you, New York. Another form of energy vampire. And have I dare say this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, New York. They might be the biggest parts of the baby vamps that will zap a good chunk of energy from you. If it's not the patients doing the most egregious things, if it's not the doctors doing the most egregious orders, you are drained. And now imagine, because the nurses usually run like what, 16 to plus hours a day. Wow. So yes, thank you for that's a perfect example. I forgot about that. Shout out to Classic Ruby, says I was assistant manager, so they also call for you and they will drain you. Yeah, they will drain you, especially on those bad days. Yes. New York said the family. Yes, because they'll tell you about you. Trust me, I'm on the other side of the fence. I had a relative laying in the bed. I think it was his fiance or something. The nurse comes in doing everything the right way now. Never, because you know how some nurses, I'm not going to fault all nurses, but some just don't know. This nurse was very hospitable, very pleasant, very respectful. And guess what happened? The family just went in, told her what she should be doing. So yes, it's very lot. It's a lot. So shout out to y'all who get paid the big bucks for that one. Hey, everybody, give a warm welcome from Tiger Cats, from the Canadian side, I believe. So thank you for coming on through. Appreciate you, Tiger Cat. We are discussing the conversation about a narcissistic trait dealing with energy vampires, right? We kind of filter out a little bit from, we had a conversation about the narcissist behaviors and their traits from a last stream. And we kind of touch bases on what is energy, flying monkeys. And now we're pretty much diving into energy vampires. And then we're going to give some solutions on that between this doctor and I have somebody else because I don't want to lost nobody with actually making a concrete solid point. So we're going to get right to it. So I appreciate you for coming on through. So thank you. So again, if you're new, definitely hit the subscribe button. Please hit the all bell notification, because what happened is YouTube act kind of funny and we'll try to unsubscribe, whatever from you. So make sure you have the all section on that connected. So I appreciate you for coming on through, Tiger Cat.
of a relationship with a narcissist. In some ways, no matter what you do, it's really never good for you. Thanks again for tuning in. Hit the bell, subscribe to this channel. Reminder, Dr. Ramani has a new book almost coming out. Don't you know who I am? I hope you know who I am by now. But the book is called Don't You Know Who I Am? Please look into it. Link below on how to order it. Get to Amazon, pre-order it. Maybe even get a handwritten note from me.
No, I definitely will. I will definitely the link below for her. I didn't know she had a book, so I would this book in particular, so I would definitely check it out. Thank you for that.
So thanks again for tuning in. I hope you look into the book, and I look forward to bringing you more content.
All right, appreciate that. That was good. So here's another one where a doctor gives like great same advice, kind of breaks down straight to the point, and also gives solutions on this one. And that's what we're about here at the Grey Pill Podcast, right? Everything's not always black and white. There's gray in the middle, but at the ending of every conversation, whether we be okay to agree to disagree, be okay to agree, disagree here. So with that being said, we're going to show one with another doctor that gives excellent advice on it. So again, this is definitely for educational purpose only. This is for the slow people in the back of the bus. This is for the people in the back of the church. You know, those people in the back of the church, the ones that's always staring at everybody else, run up, drop in a 20, a $10 in the collection plate, you know, or the ones that pass by the collection plate, because you got those other churches too, right? The ones who will pass, you know, we'll use L. Nixon, for example. L. Nixon next to me, he got the big bucks, and here I am, the one in the back of the church, and I'm just watching him. Okay, L. Nixon look like he dropping a 5. L. Nixon look like he, you know, here's a new week, he dropping 10. All right, I gotta drop something else. So let me drop $1 in there in the collection plate. All right, hallelujah. Okay, cool. That's pretty much how that goes. All right. So this is for the people in the back of the bus and the people in the back of the church, because everybody doesn't know. So we got to pull them up in the front, just like in class, right? Just like in school. You sit in the back, you got to pull them up from the back and the front so we can help everybody else learn and get educated on certain situations. So let me share this real quick, and then everybody can have some well-informed ideas on how to handle it.
Handling energy vampires is tricky business, especially in today's 3D survival society, and even more so as an empath. I've had so many clients come to me explaining that they're stuck in a relationship with a narcissist, with an alcoholic, with an abuser, all classic energy vampires. And oftentimes, this situation is made worse because it's the vampire that's providing the income for the family. And then there can often be children involved, which makes it even more difficult to extract yourself from the situation. In this video, we'll help identify, understand, and begin the journey of extracting yourself from an energy vampire situation. I'll also be providing a confidence boost activation that you can.
All right, this is for the people, again, solution basis. So for that confident boost, all right,
can use as a leg up to get started on this process.
Oh no, I gotta run that back. I like that beat. Where that? Maybe it's the my ancestors speaking to me. Let me run that beat back a little bit.
Started on this process.
Who else didn't feel that? I like that.
Energy vampirism is a misnomer. It's actually impossible for someone else to take energy from you, especially without your permission. You are always pulling your energy from the unlimited energy resources of the universe. And even though it feels like someone else is draining your energy, what's actually happening is they know how to push all of your buttons and lower your vibration and put themselves in a position of power over you, which is exhilarating for them and exhausting for you. If we look at this diagram, the top is the unlimited energy resources of the universe. And then this is your abuser, and this is you. At this point, instead of them extracting energy from you, you are actually blocking your own energy supply, and they are increasing theirs. It's good that it's all within your power, but it still can be a difficult challenge to overcome. So how do you free yourself? This is a simple concept, but for many, it's a difficult path to get there. You have to raise your vibration high enough so that you feel confident in your future, you feel confident in yourself, and you are filled with self-love to make the right decision to move on with your life.
Okay. So at that point right there, he says, raise your energy level, right? In a positive way. So again, how do we do that? How do we do that? If we have an energy vampire, whether in your family that you constantly see, whether you have a relationship that you just unbeknownst to me that you don't want to leave, and maybe they have a moment, maybe they have a day that they're draining the life force out of you. Maybe it's a coworker doing day to day. Maybe it's heck, it might be the mailman. He just won't leave, right? So again, so how do we have that energy booster for ourselves? Do we have any suggestions out there? Any suggestions to help, again, the people in the back of the bus, the people in the back of the church? How do we help boost ourselves when we deal with people like that? I know one going to say, oh, well, we can pray. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. We can pray. Now what? Now what? Because sometimes prayers won't work. Well, we can meditate. Okay, cool. We can meditate. But nobody's not going to, in the midst of stuff going on, you're not going to sit there at work and just start meditating. You got to go to work. You got to go to work. You got to. So we have one suggestion from Red Lipstick. She says you can avoid them. I agree. I agree. And while everybody else, again, we up in the front of the class now. This is Grey Pill Podcast. We know how we do here. All right, we give these solutions. So let's get these solutions going. So we got one good one. Avoid them. So while I'm rambling on some examples of how to avoid them, let's get the thought process going. All right, because again, we're trying to help the people in the back of the bus. We're trying to help the people in the back of the church. Also, we're trying to help people that just really doesn't know. Some people deal with this on a daily basis. Shout out to Tiger Cat. Tiger Cat said, "Hey, I'm an empath. I'm an empath. I attract narcissists. That's the thing. They attract certain things. All right. What they always say, whether it be light, there will be darkness. People attract the polar opposite. Matter of fact, just like I don't know if you ever noticed, Tiger Cat, they always say you have a type. Okay. I learned that a long time ago. Oh, wow. I have a type. So now that was a sign for me of this person. Oh, that's a red flag. So now let me avoid, if I see these types of individuals that will do things that or self-harm to me, let me just avoid them completely. So we're going to get into a ways of avoiding. We'll go with work. That usually be the easiest one, right? Work. Now, depending on your job, you just can't avoid everybody because, again, that's part of your job description. I got it. Well, since Red Lipstick raised her hand, so I can't avoid Red Lipstick all the time because I got to come to her for whatever's needed. I have to come to her. But now, if it's just an in and out type deal, I don't really have less communication possible. Less communication possible with the certain individual at work. They're not related to you. They're not really nothing. They're another employee. So what should you do? Let me just go ahead, give them the paper. Let me go ahead and give the notes or whatever I need to do from them. Hey, God bless. Have a good day, and go from there. People like that at work usually get the hint. And I use myself as an example. I was the type of person that always had headphones on. I listened to my music. If it was okay with the policy and procedures in work, I just listen to my music and go about my business. That's literally a way to avoid everybody for me. Even when you're just out and about, I throw headphones on. I avoid everybody. That's one way, right? Most people don't know everybody in work. So most people have like the hoodie on or look, for women, less attractive as possible. So you kind of like shoo everybody away from you. They might think, hey, well, that's the weirdo. That's the person always in the corner. That's cool. That person might be whatever you think they are, but guess what they are doing? They're there to work. Some people not there to engage with you. Some people's not there. So that's maybe another way to kind of shoo off some other people at work. All right. Just go there, do your job. You don't have to socialize with everybody. You really don't, you know, and that's it. Go punch in, go to your job. If somebody casually comes up to you and speak, okay, hi. Hey, do you want to come with us and sit with us? You know, I got a husband, I got a boyfriend, you know, I got things to do right now. So that's what I'll do. So it, you know, I'm fine, thank you. Observe them. If the crowd look kind of good, okay, cool, or come back and do what you need to do. Shout out to Canada. Good day to all. Good day to all. Excuse me. Appreciate you, Canada. If you're new, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you're coming on through, hit the like. If you're Xing out, definitely hit the like. It definitely helps a lot. Helps us push us everybody here in the chat for the channel through the algorithm, so it can help us out very greatly. So thank you for coming on through. I appreciate you. And if you want to stick around for a bit, we're actually dissecting what we had the other day about narcissists and their traits. And now one of today's trait, we're talking about energy vampires and solutions. All right. And this is what we do over here. We always talk about solutions that have healthy conversations, even if it's a disagreement, even if it's like a little bit of engagement in debates. That's what we do here. No hate, just all love here. So Red Lipstick By says, I just stay to myself and I do humans. I don't do humans. And that's another way too. So Canada, I don't know if you're still in the background, if you're listening in, if you can add a 1 or 2 list on how to avoid people that's sucking the life out of you, the life force out of you when we're dealing with the energy vampires. So Red Lipstick said avoid them. That's one. Now let's get a little bit more difficult. Let's say family events. Ooh, family events. When you know you have to go there, you might see mom, you might see the aunties, you might see the grandpa, the uncles, you might see cousin Nuke. Always cousin Nuke always starts something. Always cousin Nuke. And he's like, well, I'm doing it for the family. I got to go. I got to at least show my face, show some kind of presence, you know, for the family, but always cousin Nuke. So that's what, so you can't avoid cousin Nuke all the time. You can't avoid the crazy aunties all the time. The ones that's just saying stuff and saying things. All right. So how do we handle that? We got Red Lipstick Vibes for the win again. And shout out to Big O. Yes, set boundaries, but I'm going to challenge you that on this one, Big O. I'm going to challenge you that. Okay. You can set boundaries with family members because, again, it's in your house, right? It's around your block. But when you go some family events, yes, it's healthy to set boundaries. But guess what? There's some people out there just like, I don't want to engage. I don't want to engage. So that's one, and that's a good one. Set boundaries. So I'm not going to knock that, but I will challenge that. Red Lipstick's another one too. High and buy. That's a good one. High and buy. Go in, let's say Christmas. Go in and drop your gift. Whether you got a husband or wife, you got the family at home. Hey, just here to drop the gift off. Just want to show some love and support. You know, maybe browse around, say hi to everybody a few minutes, or just a direct person who that reframes to, and you're out the door. Okay. Hey, appreciate you, man. I appreciate Last. Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Tomorrow in the morning, hopefully, but definitely Tuesday. If you want to check us out, Tuesday we have a group panel where we'll be actually having a conversation. It's between two, but I'm definitely think I'm going to stick it to one. Why do people overshare? That's going to be the topic for Tuesday's panel, 8 p.m. Central Time. Why do people overshare? All right. I think that's going to be a great discussion. So I appreciate you for subbing up. Definitely stick around for that conversation if you have the time. That's going to be tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central Time. So I appreciate you. Thank you. So back to the boundaries and high buy. So holidays, events, families and friends, people, and I even say a friend of a friend. Let's say, for example, we'll go ahead and use, because Corey Hager is not here today in the chat, so we'll go ahead and use L. Nixon as the example. All right, we'll use L. Nixon for the example. So again, so let's just say, for example, L. Nixon is a friend of Red Lipstick Vibes, right? And Red Lipstick Vibes said, hey, me and L. Nixon's cool. Hey, Grey Pill. Hey, Angelus, do you want to come on over and have this cool party? Yes, I'll come for you. Who house is it? Is your house? Okay, great. Now the reverse, if it was L. Nixon's house, no, I can't come. I just don't want to be, I don't want that type of negativity. It's draining on me. It's a lot going on. So no, thank you. I appreciate it. No, thank you. But if me and Red Lipstick is very, very close friends, I don't want to disappoint Red. Okay, Red, I'll meet you there. I'll pass on through. But I'm not staying long. Okay. But now listen to how the conversation went. Just me having that conversation with Red Lipstick Vibes about going to Elle Nixonson's place for the party of the lifetime because that's her friend. That was draining enough to explain to another friend already in my head, overthinking it like, I really got to go. That's a lot. That is a lot. So, yeah. Let's get back to the video.
The first thing that you must do as a victim is ask yourself deeply and honestly a difficult question. Are you in fact addicted to this relationship with this energy vampire?
Ooh.
One of the first indications that you might be is if you are offended that I would even suggest that you ask yourself this question.
No, that's a good question. That is a good question. Let's continue, sir.
Some deep soul searching is really important here, because if you are in fact addicted to this energy vampire relationship, then you will inadvertently foil all of your own plans to separate yourself from that situation. Could it be that your vibration is now so low that you have begun to relish the victim role? This happens when you feel like you're the good guy and they're the bad guy. This can feel good because your self-esteem is now so low that the only way that you...
And just asking, what he's explaining here, does that have any relations to a lot of empaths? Because from what I understand, a lot of empaths or people that has a big heart or just love to help out, or like who just generally enjoy helping or giving. Those usually be the type of people that get used and abused and mistreated. And then they will pretty much the display like this right here. I think that's a perfect example of that. Now, I could be wrong. But I think this is a perfect example of a lot of empaths and a lot of big-hearted people, the people that love to give. Those are perfect sources for an energy vampire when dealing with a narcissistic trait like this.
You feel as though you can get support from friends and family is to demonstrate how bad your life is or how bad the situation is. One way to test this is to picture yourself completely free of your vampire and living your own life on your own. Let's say that you're able to earn money and take care of yourself and your children if you have any. When you imagine this situation, how do you feel? The first few weeks or month, it might feel absolutely fantastic. But imagine how it might be 6 months later. Your friends and family who have been so supportive of you now believe that everything's okay, so they don't need to pay you so much attention. Would you feel alone? And if that scares you more than dealing with the vampire, then you are actually addicted to this negative attention.
I agree. Which is kind of came back to the last conversation we had earlier about you not loving yourself, having boundaries, self-care. Peace Love had mentioned in the chat, and I definitely agree with that. And it becomes a little bit more deeper than that. That's a more deeper rooted issue with yourself. Like if you can't understand, I would say more of if you can't love yourself enough to actually love me, myself, and I enough to be alone for a day, for a weekend, you have to jump to answer the phone to run to somebody else that's very toxic, that's very draining on you, on your life, a very big inconvenience on you. That is a problem. And you're okay with, they're calling me, they're asking for me, so let me go help out. Oh, they just only need a ride. Okay, well, they've been asking for rides from you for like 2 months. Oh, well, they only needed $1. Okay, first is $1. Now it's $5. Now it's $20. Well, they just need a place to stay. Okay, cool. They need a place to stay. What's the reasons? Are you giving time limits on that? And then they stay there. They're inconveniencing you. They're eating up your food, using up all your lights. They might have kids, bringing all these little snotty-nosed kids. They might have pets, bringing pets, turn up your apartment, your house, your lawn, whatever have you, but yet you're still giving and giving and giving, but there's no reciprocation. There's no, hey, I'm not gonna say a thank you, because people could just still disrespect you, use you, and still say thank you. But yes, definitely self-care, definitely boundaries, definitely if it comes to that level of I don't know how to love myself enough, that is a problem. That is a problem. I can't be alone. That is a problem. That is a problem.
And if you have determined that you are in fact addicted, then congratulations. That is a huge step, because self-awareness is everything. And now you can begin the journey, the path to get yourself out of this difficult relationship and onto a healthy life. The next step, which is also somewhat difficult, is to recognize that your energy vampire is your greatest teacher. This is difficult because you look at them as so abusive, so dangerous, so difficult. But they are teaching you how to be an amazing spiritual being. They have led you down a path toward a spiritual existence, perhaps. But you need to check deeply and understand, what is it that they're driving you to do? What is it that they're improving in you? And maybe it's improving your resolve. It's forcing you to boost your confidence. It's forcing you to be a better version of yourself. While it might not seem like it right now, you are a powerful spiritual being. You are here to not only help yourself, but to help others as well. Your soul contract states that you are here to heal the world.
Hey, shout out to you, Army Vet. I appreciate you, man. Another like I don't want to say slash game, but if you go over there, trust and believe me, that's another source of refueling my energy during the day. This is another great content creator. If you just wanted some good vibe music, I'll say the most just I'm just gonna ramble on for this one for Army Vet. Every time I come over there, there's music going. I think if I'm like a YouTube DJ, I always got the hype train going. The chat's always lit. Very, very good over there. Very, very good. Positive conversations, positive vibe. Even the people, this is what I say before about creating your boundaries, your own space. Perfect example right here. Perfect example. I've seen him in so many spaces this content creator is aware of the negative toxic space, but also created his own space for people that comes through and say, hey, this is a positive environment for me. So let me come through. Let me stick around a little bit longer. Let me be part of the Army Vet 420 crew. Perfect example. Perfect example. So appreciate you for coming on through, man. So this is, if you want some replenishing of your positive vibes, and hey man, I'm just looking down and funky. Hey, Army Vet got the jams for you. Army Vet got the hype train going. Army Vet have good casual conversations with people, and there's always some good positive stuff going over there. So I appreciate him. Definitely appreciate that content. Because again, every time when I be roaming the spaces and I hear I never, this is no. Trust me, I know spaces. I know spaces that if you always complain about this space is toxic and negative, okay. If you want to hear some music, Army Vet. If you want to hear some hey, education, go to Red Lipstick. If you want, sometimes you want to hear some pettiness and some conversations, but it's still respect and love. Hey, go to Red Lipstick Vibes. All right. If you want to hear some depth insights on another perspective on how to move forwards. Again, I'm saying again, how to move forward. Hey, go check out Peace, Love, and Effort. And she do documentaries, you know, she gets her own little spin of it. If you want to hear a successful relationship with husband and wife, go definitely check out Mr. He Say and She Say. Okay. But I don't know, maybe it's me. Everybody want to hear is about the foo-la-la and the camaraderie. All right. But these spaces is out there. And these are the ones I reach out to on a daily basis. So it's there. I get it. Sometimes you want your cup of tea, but understand it will be taxing. It will be draining. So if you want that replenishment, these are perfect examples. Also, get outside, have a healthy relationship with yourself. That's number one, a healthy relationship with yourself.
By freeing yourself from this situation, you'll be able to use this experience to help others who are going through similar situations. Your energy vampire has no idea that they're your teacher, of course, but every difficult situation that they put you in gives you an opportunity to transcend. And with all of that practice, you'll be a spiritual master and a guru in no time if you look at it correctly. Begin a gratefulness practice. Yes, I know, you've heard this before. Everybody talks about using the gratefulness practice. There are many reasons that it's important. First of all, it's fairly easy to find a bunch of things that you're grateful for, or to dive into detail about why family member X is important to you, or why you love sunsets. This puts you in a higher vibrational mindset. The gratefulness is very high on the emotional frequency chart. It's so high that it's only one step away from unconditional love. And unconditional love is the highest vibrational experience you can have, save for enlightenment itself. See my video on Paramananda for more information on this. By putting yourself in a state of gratitude, you are raising your mindset vibration. And when you do this, you begin to lift yourself out of the place of victimhood, codependence, and reliance on your
And then
energy
we talked
vampire.
about this earlier. Again, it comes back down to self-care and boundaries, right? And I'm just thinking about this. I'm like, you get up in the morning, you do certain positive rituals for yourself. You get up in the morning, of course, you take a shower, but even a nice hot shower, like, man, it feels so good. Even when you come, have anybody ever noticed this? When you come from a long day of work, or whatever's going on with your day, you come in the house and you take a nice hot shower. Like, it feels like everything just washes away. It's the same reverse how you start your day. You get up in the morning. Sometimes, you have the day off, or you have like you coming into work like late in the afternoon, like myself. Hey, I'm getting up. I have that time to just lounge around, catch up on the news, or just like this lady doing in the video is just, let me have like a nice cup of coffee, just reflect, process, chill. Some people might pray in the morning, and that's fine too. Some people might like get up and just take a nice little brisk walk. I've done that too. It's a lot of examples like this that will help you out, just to kind of give that like me time, that boost.
Please watch this gratefulness video for some helpful practices. Another practice that will help you on your path is to meditate. And we often
called it
think of meditation as this advanced technique of having a thoughtless mind. But actually, one of the easier ways to do it is to just simply listen. If you go into a meditative state where you close your eyes and focus on your breathing, you can ask questions of the darkness. And this is you speak.
And let me say this real quick, because most people think like when they hear meditation, they think like, oh, I got to find some little place in the corner, cross my legs, have my hands up like he did, and then and meditate. No, a form of meditation is pretty much like you taking a brisk walk with, like I said, the headphones on, no music on, and just listening to everything. Or you go to a park and just chill and relax. That's a form of meditation. Okay. Or you can go to a coffee shop or a library and have a nice book. That's a form of meditation. Or like myself, because I love music. Shout out to our Army vet. I love music, all types of music. Just listen to music at home. That's a form of meditation. Some people just love to drive. I'm a combination of both. I will get in my car, take the longest trip, have the music blasting. That's another form of meditation. That is another form.
Speaking to your inner master, or speaking to the voice of universal knowledge. And just like if you were having a conversation with someone else, you would ask a question and then listen for a response. That's essentially all you're doing. And if some errant thoughts come in, then just ask the question again and wait patiently. Improve your diet. Eat fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, nuts. Avoid processed foods. Try to avoid dairy. Try to avoid meat. But whatever works for you, as long as you aren't doing processed foods, will help you a great deal at raising your vibration.
I agree. I used to say the three no-nos: no sugar, no salts, no fatty foods. But I also understand there's people out there that becomes an addiction within itself, right? I know I mentioned coffee, so some people might overthink this, but I guarantee you this, and I recommend this for everybody. Take baby steps on what you eat, portion control. That will take a huge impact in your life when boosting yourself up in that type of level. So I promise you, baby steps with this.
Another big one to help against the energy vampire is to focus on pulling from the unlimited energy reserves of the universe. And this is a very simple process. Just simply close your eyes every morning when you wake up and make a declaration. I am choosing to pull from the unlimited energy reserves of the universe today instead of my own. I've had many people do this, and they've reported great success, where at the end of their day, they would feel exhausted. But after they did this practice, at the end of each day, they still have some energy to do some chores around the house or to do something that they really enjoy.
Correct.
This will keep you from cutting off your energy supply when your energy vampire pushes your button.
Also, I want to add this too, because a lot of people don't understand this. Another good source, I know he gave a lot of good advice. We did too in the chat, and I appreciate the chat for this. Another one too is the circle, your own personal bubble, your own inner circle, the selective friends and family that you have around you. Sometimes it might be the environment, even workplaces, because a lot of people don't even like their job. So if you have like a job or a place that you go to frequently, and it's a good 80%, higher than 75% of positive vibes there. Let's say you might have one jerk at your job that that pops up now and then, but you have consistent people that will either just be just a generally nice person, or you might have a stranger just pop by and say something that's like a little bit inspiring or give a great perspective on the conversation that you was thinking about, right? It's little things like that that helps out. So that's something that you have to look forward to, or you again slowly create. Even we even say the quote unquote the YouTube spaces, right? Because people is panel people. Some people are chat people. Some people just watching the bushes, like they probably do right now on this channel, right? And that's fine. That's fine. So, but if you have a creative space, like, oh well, I know if I go here, it'll be some insightful conversation going on. That's great. That's one. So now go find another. Or if one come across your path, that's something you can gravitate to, right? And I give you an example of a stranger. I remember a stranger went to purchase something. They walked outside. Their family member was literally just waiting for them to argue with them. Just waiting for them to argue with them. You're going to see them eventually, but they decided to argue with them. They argue. The other person just looked like they were just taking it. And then the next day they come around and it's like, hey, I apologize. I felt like it was very embarrassing to myself that this relative of mine was literally waiting for me outside the place of a business or the place I'm trying to purchase something, and they want to have a conversation with me. I felt very embarrassed, and the words was, I have to quote them, was, I have no friends. I have no friends. And my response to them was like, look, maybe you don't have the friends that you want, but you're going to get the friends you need. And I was like, give an example. This interaction we're having, I'm being a friend to you at the moment. So don't feel embarrassed for this. I gave some positive advice. And I said, just take that and carry forward. Take baby steps with your life and move forward with that. We all go through it. It's a hit and miss for all of us. And that's pretty much how life deals with us, right? Something might happen, a car, the flat tire, something might happen in the world. All these things might come one day, coming crashing down on you, right? So now you have to figure out how to prepare for that. Just baby steps. All right, the car flight. Do I got AAA? Do I have a friend? Do I have a family member? Who do I have around these situations? Okay. Now let's just say again, there's some lonely people. We don't have nobody. Okay, cool. You still have to dig within yourself to figure out how to get through that. All right. So again, try to as best as possible, baby steps on finding your personal bubble for yourself, your inner circle, your positive circle for yourself, whether it's within the media or the panels. I know people on YouTube like that, or outside in real life. So again, if one side is kind of mentally disturbing you and draining you, you can always revert somewhere else. But definitely within self helps a lot. Definitely helps a lot.
Breathe. Take long, deep breaths. Bring that oxygen into your cells and feel the buzz, the expression, the life. Consider doing a breathwork exercise. Either find a breathwork class in your area or follow a YouTube breathwork workshop. It can be profound and life-changing and highly vibrational. Ground yourself. Step outside barefoot and enjoy that energy exchange between you and Mother Gaia. Decalcify your pineal gland. You probably know all about this already, but don't drink fluoridated water. And there are many supplements and food types that will help decalcify your pineal gland, which will open your third eye and allow you to have discernment. There are plenty of videos and information about this online as well. Raise your vibration through energy work. There's an MP3 you can download from my website that will raise your vibration every time you listen to it. I would definitely grab it and listen to it a few times a week. You'll see a big difference. Practice finding the positives. Anytime something bad happens to you, try to take a few moments and understand what kind of lessons you were going to get out of it. How did it change you for the better? You can even look further back in your past and apply this exercise as well. The more that you can recognize that negative experiences cause positive results, the less likely you will go down a lower vibrational path anytime something bad happens. And when you're living with or around an energy vampire, things go bad all the time. Walk up the vibrational frequency chart. The vibrational frequency chart is an incredible tool to help you raise your mindset vibration. By taking a look at some of your negative emotional experiences through the lens of higher vibrational ones, you can begin to raise your vibration just by changing your perspective. Let's take fear, for example. If you are having a worry or fear-based experience, and you are actually living full time in that fear-based experience, you can begin to look at that with higher and higher vibrational emotions. Right above neutrality, the first one is acceptance. You can accept the fact that you're having this fear-based experience. Instead of running from it, instead of wishing that it wasn't there, you can relax and say, okay, it's okay that I'm having this. I'm a human being after all, and this is a natural experience. This is just trying to help me with my survival. Then you can move up the chart a little bit more. Optimism. I am optimistic that I will find a way to get out of this fear experience. I am optimistic that I will find the positive in this fear experience, and it'll help me grow. You can move up the chart even further. You can have excitement. I am excited that this fear experience is bringing me so much knowledge. I am excited that I will learn so much from this fear experience that I'll be able to help others in the future, or that I'll be able to help myself the next time it happens. Moving up even further, you can get to the point where you can be grateful for your fear experience, for all the lessons that it's teaching you, and all the opportunities that it'll open up in your future. And finally, if you can be grateful for your fear experience, you can take the next small step and have unconditional love for it. It may not seem feasible right now to.
No sound, sir, because I hadn't. Are you serious? There's no sound playing. Let me play it one more time. Can you hear me? Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up or one if you can hear me. I want to get that out the way. Okay, now we can. Okay, cool. Like I was saying to Mr. and Mrs. Harris, sporadic is what we do here at the Great Pill Podcast, so you're more than welcome. So I'm gonna play the video. Definitely let me know if you can hear the video.
To unconditionally love your fear experience. But if you can love anything at all unconditionally, then you'll find your mindset vibration rising every time. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and provide a confidence boost activation. All you need to do for this is simply get yourself in a comfortable position with your feet flat on the floor and go ahead and close your eyes. Take a nice big deep breath and relax as you exhale. Feel yourself sinking into your chair. This is a nice and simple activation that will give you a boost of confidence. You can rewatch this over and over again anytime you need to feel this sense of confidence.
That's a new one for me. I feel like he's trying to hypnotize yourself.
I want you to picture yourself sitting outside at night. It's a warm and comfortable evening, and there are no lights anywhere. As you look up to the stars, the sky is full of light. And it's as though you can see all the constellations, and there is some angelic being that is drawing the lines to show you where they all are.
Shout out to him. I'm gonna leave a link of his and Doctor Ramani. Shout out to E-Man. E-Man said I messed up. I was standing up. I didn't know I was supposed to be sitting down. Hey, but that's fine because you have a lot more steps to check out for early in the video where we gave great advice on how to deal with a energy vampire, right? So again, we talk about avoiding them. We talk about setting boundaries for ourselves. We talked about self meditation, not self medication, because that's a no. That's overdosing. We talked about how to deal with certain behaviors, whether you're in work, whether you at social events, whether you're in your home, because it's a difficult one. We might have some examples of that too, where we have like, hey, what if your family member, a close family member, is a narcissist, right? What if you have a spouse, a husband and wife that is a narcissist? What if you have somebody that's living in your home you can't get rid of it, that's a narcissist? So those are certain parts that we're going to keep breaking down so everybody can kind of get a good understanding. But the first and foremost, the line of defense when it comes to a healthy mental stimulating me is what? Yourself. Is yourself. So you got to take care of self first. That doesn't mean you have to be stingy. Doesn't mean you have to be selfish. It just means that you have to have healthy boundaries for other people around you to say, look, stuff you say or do to me, and I didn't know I was supposed to be outside. But let me give an example for like E-Man, right? I think E-Man is a great example of he doesn't let things rub him the wrong way, and most people say, oh, he had thick skin. I wouldn't say the fact of like either man has thick skin. I would give an example of either man has boundaries for himself. I think he is in a space of like, I love myself. I think that makes more sense. I love myself. I respect myself. I like the affirmations the guy just gave an example. I think that's pretty much the quote unquote the either man list, right? You might meditate, you might wake up. I have positive rituals for myself that I do daily to say, hey, you know what? This is more positive for me. This is something I know I fill my self battery up so I know I could tackle the day, Or like I said, when I said about your personal bubble, hey, I have a family and a home to go to. So when I know when I tackle the rough days outside my own home, whether it is the quote unquote the baby energy vampires or the bigger energy vampires that come zap, 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 zap the energy from my day, I know with cold-heartedly, when I come home, I got a wife at home, I got kids that love me, I got the energy in my home, my own personal space is filled with so much love and admiration and respect for me. This is what's going to fill me up when I get in that door. And I'll even give an example. I remember, and we'll use a job example, right? I remember it was one job I just absolutely, I wouldn't say I hate it, but it's just some reason I could do all the rituals I can from the day from my house to the time I get to, literally when I get to the archway of that job, of that door, it was zap everything from me. You can feel it. Like, this is not the place to be. It is just horrendous. It's a lot. It is a lot. It's very taxing. It's very draining. All right. So again, now if you don't have a family, and I get that, that's why I said take your time out to develop personal places or things for yourself to kind of fill that little gap right there, right? It only take one. Maybe it's walking. All right, let me get up in the morning. But again, that takes a strength within you. Let me get outside. Let me walk. Let me find a nice little space. You know, maybe it's a cafe. Maybe it's a Starbucks. You know, shout out to ladies. They love their coffee. Maybe it's a library, a local library, just something out the norm. And it's what I would challenge everybody. This is why I would challenge everybody. If you're having a difficult time with just people, find a place for yourself. Maybe it's a park. Just sit there and chill and relax. That's one form of meditation. You don't have to be inside your house. Get outside, find a place, and just chill there. Give yourself 30 minutes. Don't time yourself. Just give yourself 30 minutes. What happens is time go by so quick. You're filling up that energy for yourself. You're feeling more peace. You feel more relaxed. Like, okay, I think I can get back at it now. Same thing if you're at work. You have lunch breaks, right? You might can't travel too far out the way, but guess what? Let me find a little safe space for myself. Okay? So there you go. But if you know your home is number one, yourself definitely is number one, home is number two, and try to slowly build from there. So I'll leave it with that, with E-Man's last thoughts in the chat. He said sex work too. But again, E-Man, everybody can't be on that level, man. Some people might be virgins. Some people might be like, hey, I'm going on sabbatical. Some people just don't, maybe don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend at that moment. So that's a good way. But that's a moment. That's like a pill. That's like a momentary thing. And two, we might have energy vampires that's always giving you the sex, and they could be draining at the same time. They could be draining at the same time. So always have positive outcomes and look for self first. Don't depend. And I will challenge E-Man on this one. So don't depend on persons for the sex. Don't depend on other people, because when you start consistently depending on things like the X and the E and the X, that will become taxing. That will become draining. So again, it starts with what? Self. It starts with self. So on that note,
I don't believe it. It's not possible.
There you go. And I catch our guys another time. So again, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central, the fellow content creators friends, be on the lookout for DMs and emails so we can get the band together for Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central time. Also, shout out to Red Lipstick Vice. She's in the chat. You can check her out. She's having a birthday bash later on tonight, I believe. So I will definitely be there for that one. So you can definitely come there, say hello. Definitely swing by, just tell her happy birthday, and then hit the like button and run out. She's okay with that, you know. So thank y'all. Have a good one.
At last.
The king's back and the throne's mine. The future's here and it's my time. Straight shot, going for the head with it. Take his head off and say that I did it. Good riddance. Say hi to the bad guy, back in business. If you took what's mine, I'm back to get it. There's nothing you can do. I'm back with vengeance. Now turn me loose. Now turn me loose.